And we're seeing some protests and counter-protests, clashes happening, including outside a four-star hotel in East London where illegal immigrants will be housed. Here is a Greens councillor and a protester having a debate that got rather heated.
There are no safe and legal routes for refugees to come to this country. This is the only way they can come here. It's on a boat. We have a lot of stakes in the conflicts and the climate crisis that causes people to be refugees and have to come to another country. They're not choosing to leave their country at their home, their children, their parents.
Children, our children.
Excuse me.
Douglas, the anger is palpable there. People are fed up. They've had years of this from the Tories, the supposed Conservatives that govern like Labor, and now we've got a Labor government who seem to be governing like the Greens.
Yes, they simply forget always who the people are that they're meant to represent. A member of Parliament in Britain is not meant to represent the people of the world. They're meant to represent the people of their constituency and, by extension, the people of the United Kingdom. They're not meant to be the defence team for everybody entering the country illegally. It's just the most preposterous abandonment of their roles and of their duties. It's really quite straightforward in its root. The UK is not a huge country. It cannot take in all of the poor and dispossessed of the world. It couldn't even take in all of the people in the world who really do have legitimate asylum claims. It couldn't do it. It couldn't take in all of the people who would like to come with legitimate claims. There's just no way. The country would be overrun. But another left-wing MP in the UK said last week that the UK should continue this policy of allowing illegals into the country until it is overwhelmed, until the point at which the country is overwhelmed, and only then would the country need to stop. That is, as I say, that is an absolute abandonment of their duty. It is MPs who are literally willing to crash the country with a policy of allowing in endless numbers of people. And as I say, the numbers are literally endless. The country could not take in all of the people who would like to come with legitimate claims. And it certainly can't take in all of the people in the world who would like to come who also don't have legitimate claims, who are the vast majority of the people currently arriving.
Now, Labor are hoping to hold on to power by lowering the voting age. It's estimated they could secure 500,000 more votes at the next election if 16 and 17-year-olds are allowed to vote. What do you make of this plan, Douglas? Some argue the voting age should be lifted, but should a 16-year-old, 17-year-old who can't even buy cigarettes, they can't buy alcohol, they can't get married, should they be able to vote?
No, absolutely not. It's pure, as you say, once again, it's pure politicking. The Labour Party is doing this for two reasons. One is that they think the optics of it will make them more attractive to younger voters. And secondly, they assume that younger voters are going to be in their favour. That's not necessarily the case. There's some very interesting data showing, for instance, that younger voters disproportionately by population are likely to vote for Reform UK, Nigel Farage's party. That would be quite a funny thing in the tail, wouldn't it, if that were to happen? But as you mentioned, Rita, it's obviously the case that if you can't, you're not deemed to be of an age to buy cigarettes, to buy alcohol, to be able to marry. Why should you have the vote? By the way, it was very interesting in the past week, at least two Labour MPs I know, including people in the government, didn't seem to realise when interviewed on air that you're not allowed to marry in the UK at 16. So they don't even know the laws as they exist, even as they try to introduce new laws like this.
Now let's go to the US, and President Donald Trump looks like he's going to be pulling the US out of UNESCO. That's the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organisation. This decision comes after a 90-day review, and Douglas, the organisation was deemed to be anti-American, anti-Israel and pro-DEI, three things that the Trump administration does not like, and it's not unprecedented. President Reagan also withdrew the US from UNESCO. What do you think of this decision?
Yes, I mean, the Trump administration doesn't like anti-American international bodies. And that's something which is, you would have thought normally would be sort of quite straightforward, quite obvious, not controversial. But there are so many people, sadly, who seem to think that any organization with UN in the title must be angels, effectively. And that isn't the case. I mean, there's just a fundamental misapprehension at the root of a lot of people's worldview, which is that because something is an arm of the United Nations, it must be doing the Lord's work. And yet the problem with the United Nations now and with its entities is what it's often been in the case, as it was in President Reagan's day, that the tilt of the organization tilts against America, against the Western democracies, because of the predominance of unfree, undemocratic, and tyrannical countries within the organization. And, you know, I don't mind if people want to pretend that the United Nations is the world's parliament. If they want to imagine that, that's one thing. But to imagine as a result that it is what it says it is, and that its entities are what they claim to be, is just a grotesque category error. UNESCO, like so many organizations, UNRWA, the UN Human Rights Council, these are not bodies that represent or further the interests of the American taxpayer, the American voter, and often work directly against them. So why exactly should the American taxpayer be funding them?